and welcome to our Halal Kitchen put on by the Milwaukee Muslim Women's Coalition and Our Peaceful Home. Your usual host, your wonderful host, Basima, is tied up a little bit today, so I am going to be introducing our wonderful chef today. We have Malina with us. She's one of the sisters in the community. She's Indigenous American and also Latina from Mexico originally. She's going to be putting on some very special foods for us today. So just for those of you that are not aware, the Milwaukee Muslim Women's Coalition is the only independent Muslim women's organization in Wisconsin. We run the Islamic Resource Center on the south side of Milwaukee. It has a lending library. We put on a lot of different events. That's where I first met Malina as well. We run the Milwaukee Muslim Film Festival. We publish the Wisconsin Muslim Journal. And also Our Peaceful Home, which is a family strengthening, family peace, and domestic violence agency, culturally specific to the Muslim community. And so we're always available for services. So let's welcome our chef today, Malina, and you're going to talk about what you're going to cook for us today and tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Welcome to my kitchen, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I converted to Islam roughly 8 years ago, so from Christianity, and it's been a beautiful experience ever since. So I'm happy to be part of the community. Everyone makes me feel so welcome there, and I'm happy to be cooking for you guys today. I do have a little side business where I do private catering and private chef type of items. So if you're interested in anything like that, just get a hold of me. I believe my phone number is going to be shared with you today. Today I'm making for you some beef empanadas, and there's many ways that you can make these, but typically it's a stuffed pastry. So I'm gonna start out first by making the pastry, and then I'm gonna move on to a sauce, and then I'll go ahead and do the filling last, and then we'll put it all together and fry them. Empanadas can be either fried or baked. I like the taste of them fried better than baked, but either way you can do it. If you'd like to get a pen and paper out, you could follow along and write down this recipe. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So it's a typical pie crust dough. I like to use butter, which I'm gonna go grab from the refrigerator because I have it chilled in the freezer right now. So let me go grab that. So I have this cubed butter. So I have 2 1/4 cups of flour. I'm going to add that to the food processor. The recipe called for 1.5 teaspoons of salt, but I'm only going to put 1 teaspoon because I'm also adding something called sazon con culantro and achote. And so this gives your empanadas an orange color and a nice flavor. So I'm going to add that right to this. All right, that's it for the dry ingredients. The wet ingredients calls for 1/3 cup of ice water. So I'm just going to pour that in my measuring cup. One tablespoon of white vinegar. The white vinegar makes your dough more pliable, and it prevents your flour from oxidizing and turning gray, your dough. And then 1 large egg. We're going to add that to the wet ingredients. And then we're just going to whisk this up. All right, and then we're gonna slowly start pulsing this flour. And then we're gonna add the butter cubes to it little by little.
I just want to let everyone know that we do have your recipe, and so it will be put in the chat room, and for anyone that would like it, they can also email us at staff@mmwconline.org, and we can send the recipe to you.
So just like a pie crust, you want to make sure your dough gets crumbly, like little bead-like. I like using the food processor because it cuts the fat into the protein really nice and thoroughly, so you get a nice flaky dough after it's fried. Then you're going to slowly add in your wet ingredients.
So Malina, tell us about your cooking. I know that when we used to have events at the Islamic Resource Center, you always used to bring food, and you said you loved to cook.
So yeah, I grew up in a family of cooks, and it was really my passion to cook. I started baking at a young age. We used to have apple trees, cherry trees, grapes in the yard. And then when I took my first home ec class, I just fell in love with it, and I was always baking at the house. I grew up watching my grandmother bake or cook, and she loved to cook American recipes. And I started working in the restaurant industry when I was 17 years old. And so I'm gonna bring this dough together. It doesn't look like it's gonna come together, but it's nice and moist, and this dough comes together perfectly with these ingredients if you follow them exactly. But yeah, later on in life, I went to school for culinary management. I got my degree, and my dream is to open up my own food truck, and we're working on that right now. Financially, we're getting things in order, so inshallah, that'll be happening soon, inshallah. But in the meantime, I keep myself busy. Surprisingly, in 2000, I think it was 18, I got an email from one of my instructors that said if I wanted to apply for a job for West Dallas, West Milwaukee School District, because they are looking for a FCS teacher, a family consumer science teacher, to work in their career and technical education department. And so I honestly saw the email, and I was like, you know, and I always thought about, you know, teaching and how that would be cool, but I never thought it was a possibility. So I was going to just pass up the email, but I didn't. I responded to the email. I went through the process, the application process, and it took about 3 months for the process to fully go through. And in August of that year, I got a call and said I was accepted for the job. And I've been teaching, this is my 2nd year now. And so it's really been a huge blessing, a great experience. And I also do catering on the side, lots of baking and cooking, you name it. All right, so this dough is done. I'm gonna chill it in the fridge. I'll be right back. All right, and we're gonna move on to our sauce now. Are there any questions so far? All right, so the sauce
There was
is
a
very
question, Malina. Malina,
Yes.
there was a question as to how much butter you used.
Oh, I'm sorry, I used 1 stick of butter and I cubed it.
So one
Thank you.
stick.
Yes, 1 stick of butter. Okay. All right, so for the sauce, I'm making a sour cream and lime, chipotle, and garlic sauce. It's very easy. There's also gonna be a little bit of cilantro in here and a little bit of salt. Let me go grab that. So I have 1 cup of sour cream. And we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of lime juice. We're about to do a teaspoon of cilantro. 1 garlic clove. And a teaspoon of chipotle sauce and a little bit of the pepper. You can find these chipotles at pretty much any store in a can. Super good, super simple. So I'm gonna put about a teaspoon. If you can get a nice little actual chipotle like that, you might want to do that. So you don't want to overpower it with the chipotle, so be careful with that. And then you just blend that up. And if you need to thin it out, you can use a little bit of milk if you like your sauce a little bit thinner, which I think I might do. Let's see how it turns out. Yeah, we're gonna put a little bit of milk to thin it out. Stew about a tablespoon of milk.
So Melina, where do you recommend getting these ingredients? What's your favorite go-to place?
You know, honestly, today it's where you find the best value. I find things cheaper at certain stores than others. Cermak has a nice variety of things. So Cermak is probably, I would say, one of the go-tos to go to. All right. And then there's your sauce. It's kind of thinned out for you. All right. We'll scrape that into, I'll just scrape that into this bowl here. All right. And then we're going to move on to our filling. All right. Just clean this up a little bit. Okay. All right, so for the filling, I'm going to be using about a pound of ground beef. And I'm going to be using a mix of different spices. And also, let me tell you about the ingredients first. I have potatoes here. First, let's heat up the pan. I have my olive oil, and I'm going to heat up the pan real quick. About medium to medium high is what I'm gonna put it on right now. Just enough oil to coat the pan. And then I'm gonna start my ingredients in order of how long it takes to cook. So I have my potatoes here that I diced up, kind of small to medium dice, red peppers, golden raisins. I have olives here that are pimentos, they're unpitted. I got those from Sturmac. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, great deal. Onions, a little bit of tomato sauce, and minced garlic. You could use fresh garlic or minced garlic, it really doesn't matter. I like to use this for my, when I'm cooking meats. And then I have my spice mixture right here, and I'll tell you what's in there. I have oregano, and I'll tell you, for per pound of meat, it's gonna be about a half a teaspoon of everything, but I like to put a little more herbs in mine, so I'll probably do a little more than a teaspoon of herbs. So I have oregano and cilantro in there. I bought cumin seeds and I grinded it up in a mortar and pestle. And I like using the fresh cumin. It gives a really nice aroma and a more pungent flavor. Cumin's one of my favorite seasonings. I also like to use Goya as, that's just my go-to for all around seasoning. I put a little bit of thyme. For me, thyme elevates any dish. So it was a half a teaspoon of everything. Onion powder, parsley flakes, chili, and of course paprika. Those are my seasonings. So let's get to cooking here. Any questions, you guys? Okay.
It makes it so much easier when you get all of your ingredients ready like that. I think it really cuts down on the time to cook.
Absolutely. It's one of the things I like to stress in my classes, and something we learned in college. The first class we took was called mise en place, and it's a French term that means everything in its place. And it actually is the most key thing to do for efficiency in the kitchen. So we're gonna let this cook down for a little bit. I season a little bit as we go. So I have my kosher salt here and my pepper. Just a tiny bit. Each time I'm gonna add a little bit more. Is this view fine, or should I bring down the camera and come a little closer?
The view of the food is perfect. We just can't see your face.
Oh, okay. Let me try to lift it up a little bit. All right. Potatoes take
So are
the
you,
longest to cook.
so are you just frying the potatoes until they get what, golden or what?
No, just I want them to be par cooked because I'm gonna add the onions and then I'll add the red bell peppers, and lastly I'll add the garlic, the raisins, and the olives. I cut these smaller so they cook faster, and also it's nicer in the empanada when they're this size. You got to be careful when you're cutting these. You don't want huge chunks of potatoes in your empanadas. So I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit because I don't like the smoke that I'm seeing. I don't want my food to taste burnt. So put it down just a little bit. So yeah, I've catered for quite a few people. I've made enchiladas, chimichangas, taquitos, rice and beans, those kinds of things. So I'm gonna add my onion now. I'm gonna add about a fourth a cup onions.
So can you freeze these?
Yes, you can definitely freeze these, absolutely. After you bake them or fry them, sure. And then reheat them in the toaster oven or the oven. So the potatoes soaking up some oil, so I'll probably have to add a little more oil when I add the red bell peppers in there, which I'm gonna do right about now. I like another, it's about a fourth cup as well, maybe a third cup, depending on how much you like. I'm gonna add a little more oil. I'm gonna add a little more bell pepper because I like the bell pepper.
So if anybody wants to order from Malina, she actually shared her number. It's 414-238-7765. So if you'd like, if you're having a party or you just want a special dinner, she's ready to make something special for you.
Yeah, the other day, I had one of the sisters sponsor 4 families for Ramadan, and I made 16 dinners of chicken and broccoli Alfredo. It was awesome.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
All right, so I did lower my heat down so it doesn't overcook. So we're getting a nice brown color on there. Looking good. I haven't added the seasonings yet because I don't add that until I add my meat. So next I'm gonna add the garlic. I prefer my veggies al dente. My husband likes his mushy. I don't like that at all, but so I tend to cook it just right. I don't like to overcook my veggies. Plus, it's going to continue cooking with the meat when I add that in, so everything will balance out as far as doneness. All right, we're going to add some garlic. Depends on how much garlic you like. I like a lot of garlic. I do a tablespoon. Smelling really good. The potatoes are done, I can tell. The garlic takes really quick to cook. So now we're going to add in the raisins. No, these are golden raisins. And then I have olives. Probably about a third cup of each of those. All right, so the olives and the raisins, they don't need to cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my meat now. About a pound of ground beef, and then I'm gonna add all my seasonings. And some salt and pepper. So while this is browning, I'll share a little bit about my conversion story with you guys. I was a single mom. My kids were about 7 and 8 years old, and my husband came into my life. I actually knew him when I was younger, when I was 21, but I hadn't seen him for 12 years. And he had emailed me, and I agreed to meet up with him. And he, in that time that we met up at a restaurant, we didn't even eat food. We just caught up with each other. And he told me he was a Muslim. And I said, and I don't know why I said this, but I definitely said I could never marry you because you're a Muslim. I was pretty like rock solid. I'm going to church all the time, going to prayer groups and all that sort of thing. And we continued to see each other, and he would tell me, it's time for prayer, and he would have to go. And then we fell in love, and my plan was to convert him back to Christianity. So I went on a mission to learn everything I could about Islam so I could prove to him that it wasn't the right religion, and that I would, and that's how I would win him back to Christianity. And so I started my mission after we got married, on trying to figure out what Islam is so I can prove to him that it's the wrong religion. And during that time, I would ask them questions here and there, but I did a lot of research online. I watched a lot of debates. I started reading the Quran. And eventually I ended up converting. I found so much peace and clarity with Islam that I said my Shahada in less than a year after we got married.
That's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
So your husband was, what was he originally?
He was a Christian originally. Yeah, my husband's German. He's American German. We both come from, we both have a past that was pretty hard. So, alhamdulillah, we were blessed to find Islam, be guided.
So this filling that you're making, how many can you make with that?
Oh, this is gonna make quite a bit. I'm gonna say 20.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on how big your dough is, how big your dough balls are, how big you roll them out. So some people buy the pre-made dough. I don't like to do that because I think it, I don't like the flavor too much of those. So I think it's better from scratch. So this meat is brown. It's done. So I'm gonna set it, turn it off. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna heat up my oil. I'm gonna put that on about medium-high heat. And then I'm gonna get the dough out. And roll that out right here for you. So I made a dough earlier, so it's been chilly. All right, so just get a little bit of flour. So this is how it looks. So I'm just gonna break off a piece. Like if you were gonna make a pita or something. So a ball's gonna be about this size. If you want to make them all uniform, you can weigh them. You can weigh them all and make sure they're all evenly the same amount of grams or ounces, however you do it. And they don't have to be perfect. A lot of times when I'm teaching the kids in high school about cooking, I encourage them to not be perfect because that's not what cooking's about. It's just about trying new things. So if it looks like a ball, it might turn out looking like a ball. It might not. So I just give it a little here. So you want these flatter than a pita. You want them kind of like a tortilla. If you like your pastry thick, you can keep it thick. If you like it thin, make it thin. It's up to you. You're the chef. So this is kind of thick, but I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger because I'm gonna end up folding these. So I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. So we might, I mean, this is gonna be pretty quick. I didn't know it was gonna take this quick. What time do we have?
You're fine.
Okay. Time just goes by fast when you're cooking, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna fill this up with a little bit of this filling right in the middle. Normally I'd let that cool, but it's okay. So, all right. Now you can do the fold. You don't have to get fancy with it, but you could. You can do a braid or just like a little, it does not have to be perfect. Sometimes I just take a fork and make the little lines in it with the fork like you do a pie crust. So
Your dough is holding on so well. On occasion, when I try to make some of these, the dough starts to fall apart. What does that mean?
um, maybe it might be a little too dry. It could be. It could be because mine, or it could be too thin. Mine got a little hole right there in the bottom. But let me get a fork. When it comes to dough, you can pretty much repair it by adding a little more flour, or you can add water to this seam and that'll make it stick, which I probably should have did, but I didn't. So yeah, you could add a little water with your finger. So that's what we have right now. See the little, I got a little hole there. I'm gonna try to repair that, but not a big deal. But I am gonna use a little bit of this ice water so it sticks. Should be fine. They don't have to be the prettiest. So what we're gonna do is when the oil heats up, we're gonna fry these. I'll make one more because my oil's not hot yet. So yeah, I'm making empanadas on Sunday. So I'm catering to a bunch of people. I have some orders. I'm gonna try to do the catering maybe once or twice a week. Just say what I'm gonna have on my menu that day and make it. If you have a big family, you're gonna wanna double that recipe. And you can make these as big or small as you want. Mine are pretty big. That's about right. Okay, so this one I'm gonna do the wet so it sticks. So Practice makes perfect with these, that's for sure. It's a lot of time, but it's worth it. This part is the labor intensive part, but it's totally worth it.
They look delicious.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna try to make this one look a little prettier.
So did your grandmother make these?
No, actually, she loved to cook American food. She had an American cookbook, and she loved to bake. She made meatloaf. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, pretty much it. And then as soon as the oil heats up, which I think it is, let me check. You want to get your oil to 375. Oh, 350, 350 really. Something like that. Okay, so I'm at 354. So I'm going to go ahead and place them in very carefully. And I'm going to get my baking pan ready with some paper towel so I could place them on there right away. So they only need to fry until they're golden brown on each side. So it takes about, I think, two minutes per side, but we'll see. I'm just gonna check because I don't want it to get too brown. Those are perfect.
So you can put probably any filling in those if you wanted to do a vegetarian, just vegetables or just potatoes and something.
Yep, absolutely, definitely. Or you could do something sweet.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried doing something sweet, like maybe putting a kind of a sweet cheese or something?
No, I haven't, but that's a
Yeah.
great idea. So yeah, these cook pretty fast. They are done. Get this puppy out of there. All right. That's it. Those are done.
Wow, you're making us so hungry, especially now during Ramadan. I think I'm going to go try that. It looks delicious.
Yeah, I can't wait to try these tonight, I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much. This is
Of
wonderful.
course.
Thank you. And for everyone that, if anyone would like the recipe, you can get it from Zoom in our chat room, or you can email us. And if you're on Facebook, you can email us, and we will send you the recipe that Malina shared. If you would like to have her cater for you, again, she shared her phone number, 414-238-7765. I know from experience during some events that we've had where she's made some dishes. Always, her food is always delicious. Wonderful. So thank you so much, Malina, for taking time out of a beautiful day on Friday to cook for us.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Thank you so much. Before we leave, I just want to remind everyone that that everyone deserves to be safe. And so Our Peaceful Home is a culturally specific family peace program that serves some families. You can call us. We are located at the Islamic Resource Center. Right now, during COVID, we are there by appointment only. Our crisis line is 414-727-1090. We are going to have more halal kitchen, and we will also be having more of our children's Ramadan crafts. And keep an eye out for information. And thank you once again to Malina, and thank you to all of you for joining us. We are really honestly enjoying all of the halal kitchen chefs and the recipes that they have been sharing. So thank you all, and we hope to see you next week.